Hi, it's Kiffin Lobates here, and one final post I think on trust. And today I want to touch on implicit trust. This is the kind of trust where you trust something because you're not even questioning what's going on. And I think this is the kind of trust that we have in money. When I look at how my kids see money, they're growing up with it, they're handling coins and notes, they see prices on things, and by the time they're adults, they're so indoctrinated with the idea of what money is in terms of practical everyday use, going out, earning some and then spending it on things that you want or need, that they never really question the underlying mechanisms that are going on there. And I am guilty of this myself, because that's how we educate, or some would say indoctrinate, people into trusting money. And I think that's the issue with trust, is that a lot of it is implicit. And I'm reminded of a episode in my past when I was at university, where it really brought home to me the fact that there are things that people just don't question. They just assume that they understand them even though they're wrong. And in this case, I was sitting in the college bar in Cambridge with a guy very, very bright, and out of the blue he says, I really admire people in foreign countries for being able to speak foreign languages. And I looked at him and said, well, what do you mean? And he said, well, growing up in France or Germany or Italy and speaking French or German or Italian and having to translate your English thoughts into that language in order to speak to the person next to you. And I looked at him in bemusement, and then he suddenly realized, for the first time in his life at the age of 19, that foreigners don't think in English, and that English is not the language of thought. And there is a classic example of an implicit assumption that you make because of the environment in which you grow up. He'd grown up the entire time in a small rural town in the countryside in England, and it had never crossed his mind that the language that he thought in wasn't the language of thought. And I think the same goes on with money, that most people don't question what it is. It's just there, and they know how to use it, and they know how it impacts their everyday life, and they don't think to look beyond their experience as to what is going on in the greater world outside there. But one of the amazing things that I think cryptocurrencies have done is they've made many, many more people, myself included, aware of these implicit assumptions that we had until now. That, you're going to go out, earn a job and get a salary. You're going to get a mortgage, get a credit card if you want to buy a car and you can't afford it. And not actually thinking about what is really going on. Where is the money coming from? Who controls it? And what are the purposes beyond your everyday going to buy a pint of milk in the supermarket? So I hope you found that interesting and perhaps even amusing, and I'll see you in the next video soon. Bye for now.